So our next speaker is going to be Sara Lucatello from the European Astronomical Society. And before we start, we need to, are you able to do the download of the...
Yes, the last one.
It should say my first, my last name is the first word.
No,
Yes, I have the
new one.
new one is
Okay, yeah, you have it. Sorry.
within, yeah.
All right.
So you're good.
Hello. I would like to start with something a little unusual, I guess, besides thanking the organizers for doing a fantastic job with organizing the conference and also giving the opportunity to speak. I'd like to thank the speakers. I think this has been a fantastic meeting. I've really enjoyed the talk so far, and no doubt I'll continue to enjoy them in the following days. It's been illuminating, really, to listen to very different perspectives on this issue, which is so multifaceted. So thank you very, very much for all your talks and the discussion ensued with the attendees. I'm really grateful. It's been great. So I'm going to try to give you a very short update. I promise I will not go over time because we need to take the bus, about the activities that the European Astronomical Society has undertaken with respect to policy in regards to the satellite constellation issues. I'm normally an astronomer at the Observatory of Padova in Italy, but I'm here with my hat as Vice President of the European Astronomical Society. Unlike the AAS that we heard before, the IAU and the Royal Astronomical Society that we'll hear about in just a second, we are a very young society and probably not very familiar with us, so I'm going to give you a few key numbers about who we are and what we do. We're just 30 years old, and we just recently reached the milestone of having 5,000 members. All our members are professional astronomers. And we also have 32 affiliated societies, national astronomical societies across Europe. That is geographical Europe, not the European Union. Switzerland, the UK, and Russia, for instance, are our affiliated societies. And through them, we engage with a much wider pool of amateur astronomers. Many of our affiliated societies include a large number of amateur astronomers. We also organize the largest yearly astronomical event in Europe, the IAUS annual meeting, which regularly attracts over 1,500 people, most of which are actually not our members. So we engage with a wide community, and we represent a wide array of interests and scientific focuses. Like many astronomers, and you heard this before, we were also surprised by the brightness that the first Starlink launched satellite had in 2019. And pretty soon we reacted to it, although not as quickly as our American counterpart. And we formed a working group on the issue in 2020. And we also started organizing special sessions at our annual meeting on the same years, and we've done the same every year since then, because we felt it was quite important to inform our membership of this issue. The US got a head start on us, and so there was less awareness on our side. And we've done a very concerted job to inform our community, to spread the news, the bad news in this case, about what was happening. And at the same time, we started interfacing with our national affiliated societies because we wanted to gauge what the impact were going to be in their communities. And in their facilities, they either use, they have available, or they were planning to use. Of course, there's ESO, which is the main optical observatory and optical infrared observatory for our community, but also our community is widely invested in and planning to use extensively the Vera Rubin Observatory and SKAO. And we also started thinking and talking with them about coordinating actions related to this issue. So the first things that we started doing pretty soon was to have grassroots campaigns. The grassroots campaigns have been organized through the affiliated societies. also leveraging amateur astronomers quite extensively in some cases. And they've been targeted to the national policymakers of the countries, to European Member of Parliament, to ESA national representatives, and to COPUOS delegation members. This has brought some success, including having an officially EU parliamentary question posed by a Slovenian member of the EU Parliament, and having several follow-up contacts by these representatives asking for further information, which we were happy to provide, and offering to support our efforts. Of course, to follow up on what Andy said about informing policymakers about this issue, we also engaged with the Parliament and the Commission. We have participated in a parliamentary event related to space debris earlier on this year. This event was connected with the inauguration of the exhibit by Max Alexander that I think you will see day after tomorrow, I think. You'll see part of that, which is fantastic work. And there's going to be an event on space sustainability we're also being invited to speak at later this month. We also engaged quite extensively with the Commission, specifically the FISB, who is the part of the Commission that is in charge of managing the development of IRIS², the new satellite constellation that the EU is developing. We have specifically discussed mitigation measures, for which the input we have gotten thanks to the CPS, of which the European Astronomical Society is a member of, but also on satellite monitoring and on regulations, and particularly we plan to engage, and we've been asked to engage related to the EU Space Law 2023. We recently also became a secure permanent permanent observer status at COPUOS, UN COPUOS, just a few months ago. And we join other organizations, the IAU, the other astronomical society there, ESO, and SKAO. And of course, our aim is to support and participate in dark and quiet sky initiatives within COPUOS. And I'd like to end on a high note, which was one of perhaps the greatest success of our activities. So recently, the G7 Science Ministry communique after the meeting in Sendai included wording on dark and quiet sky. We recognize the importance of continued discussion in the UN COPUOS and International Telecommunication Union framework, as well as with the International Astronomical Union on the impact of large constellation of satellites on astronomy for the protection of the dark and quiet sky. This statement came out after a period in which national societies, and in particular the UK, the German, the French, and the Italian Astronomical Society and ESO engaged extensively with their correspondent science ministers, making them aware of these issues, of the threat it posed to investment in astronomical infrastructure and to the community of astronomy and scientists. Beside this statement, which was, of course, an incredible piece of incredible document to have mentioning this, we also got letters from the Prime Minister of Italy acknowledging this issue and indicating that the intention of the government to engage further on this issue, and we are following through at this moment through the Italian Astronomical Society. And I don't have conclusions. I'm going to leave it on this I note, and I'm happy to take questions if you have any, either here on the Slack or later. Thank you.